So the first song is Something New, and Jesse wrote that one. So do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, so I wrote it. It was one of the first songs I wrote. I say one of the first 10 songs I wrote. And it was in 2005. It was when we were still recording the first album and still writing the first album. And I remember there was some debate about whether to finish the song and put it on that album or not, and we decided to just save it. And then, as always, we all write songs, more songs than we have on the album, and it just it fell to the back burner, and we never focused on it. And then, for whatever reason, some new sounds, new synths, and a slightly new approach to it really brought the song to the forefront for this album. And I would say lyrically, it's about a conflict, whether it's in a relationship or another kind, where your background and the language that you speak and everything that sort of defines you, the culture that you acquire from childhood, is not necessarily compatible with everybody. And in order to find a way to discuss or to get on the same page with somebody, you've got to sort of untangle that, your different backgrounds and your different ideas, so that you can get to something truthful and essential. The record, anyone want to talk about the record? I think it's pretty cool.
Well, the interesting thing about that is over 14 or 15 years, it didn't fundamentally change.
No.
Even the treatment, I'm obviously re-recorded most, if not all, the instruments and everything. Did you use anything from original demos or not?
The vocal was pretty much original.
You mean the vocal itself was actually...
Not from the demo. It was from very early on when I decided to record it properly. The whole thing was sort of based on this bass line that, I even looked at my computer at old files, and before I had a name for the song, it said Bach-like bass line, a Bach-like chord sequence or something like that. So it's this sort of almost classical sounding chord sequence, like a cello suite, that moves through chord changes in what I was trying to, achieve, a sort of logical chord sequence, like a lot of Bach chord sequence, where it just makes sense. It makes mathematical sense the way it flows. And then everything sort of built around that. And then the chorus is a little more hooky and poppy. But that was the impetus.
Yeah, the chord sequence it's one of the most common chord sequences in the world. But it sounds quite different in this day and age, because people only use 4 chords now, it seems, particularly in alternative music.
The bridge, though, is a little twisty, and that's the part that I like. It's a little bit more obscure. It's hard for people to grasp at first, I think, but then once you get it, it's a sort of strange melody.
What is the chord sequence?
Well, the opening of the verse is 6-2-5-1. 1-6-2-5-1 is called Rhythm Changes. It was the song. It's been going since Bach, which is before even, but in the 30s and 20s, all the songwriters there used it so much that it became known as Rhythm Changes, because that song "I've Got Rhythm" that's what everyone just call it. And now, so jazz people just play. They just say, "Let's play Rhythm Changes," and it's just a set of changes that everybody knows. Now it's treated a bit differently the way Jesse's doing it, but it's essentially that.